Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more EU4, the Three Mountains. Playing as Ryukyu, of course. Now the Shogun of Japan, because we conquered Kyoto. Hooray! Alright, so this video is going to be a little bit weird, because I've already recorded everything, and then, as I'm editing these videos, I find that Episode 3's audio is completely corrupted and unsalvageable. So here I am, Pravus from the future, now trying to voice over my own episode, which is going to fail horribly, I'm sure, but I will do my darndest. At this point, if I recall correctly, I'm trying to recount how I do credit two main factors for actually being able to take over Kyoto and finally win this war after, I would say, a good 20-something restarts and several hours of banging my head against a wall. The first is this 3-star general, who is so dang good. And this is pure luck. I don't think I could ever reproduce this. The odds are extremely low. The second was feinting the troops landing here in the north. It worked really well, like way better than I thought it would. The AI, turns out, is really easy to manipulate if you just pretend to land some troops, and you can distract like half of their forces because they want easy kills. So that was a really cool strategy, and it makes me wonder what I can do in the future in order to actually just manipulate the AI and win naval invasions way easier. Really kind of cool. Alright, so let's take a look at Liberty Desire. We have a lot of subjects that we have to worry about now. Now, we are no longer an independent Daimyo government. We did become the Shogun, which means we do have a few different little modifiers. Namely, we have an extra diplomat, which is pretty good. Reduce envoy travel time, which is trash, really. And increased absolutism, maximum absolutism, which is really good in the late game. But we also have 3 special government actions available. The first here is the Sword Hunt. We would spend 20 legitimacy to increase our own manpower cap and land force limit, but reduce the manpower and land force limit of all of my daimyos, which sounds bad for a vassal swarm, but this early on in the game, they're not going to be very useful, and reducing their power changes the relative power mechanic, which reduces their Liberty Desire. Sankin Kotai also reduces Liberty Desire by increasing our Diplo rep. Every 1 diplomatic reputation translates into a reduction of 3 Liberty Desire, so that's 9. And then we can forcibly expel the Ronin for 5 Liberty Desire, and that's it. So it seems to me that, yeah, they lose diplomatic relationship slot, so they can't ally as many people, but they're daimyos, who cares? This translates into 9% Liberty Desire reduction as opposed to 5% for the same cost. I just think this is straight up better. So we're going to go ahead and pick that one up. And then at this point, I think I'm now trying to decide, do I want to forcibly expel the Ronin or do a sword hunt? And I don't really know exactly how the math works here for relative power. I probably could calculate it if I tried. But is reducing their force limit and their number of troops going to be more effective than a 5% Liberty Desire? I don't know. And again, you may think you don't want to do that to a vassal swarm, keep them nice and strong. Okay, fair, except the AI daimyos at this stage, since they're so small, tend not to focus much of their money into transport, so they don't actually help you with any naval invasions. Now you would say, why can't you also expel the Ronin as well? Well, because if we go below 50 legitimacy, there's a good chance of the Civil War firing. So I'm tempted to do so, but a big disaster like a civil war would be absolutely horrible for me at this point, so we can only afford to do 2. If we get a lot of legitimacy in the future, well then maybe we could expel the Ronin, but for now, this does get a lot of my daimyos under control. Now, we are currently fighting a war against Ouchi. I don't know how you say it. I apologize to anyone from Japan who's watching this. I don't know what I'm doing. The question is, do we want to kill them right away and end this war? We could end it right now, or do we wait? Because if you look over to the right, we do have some rebels that are close to firing. Oh, a mission. Income. Cool. Construction cost reduction. We'll do that. But yeah, we do have some... Oh, I think at this point I'm trying to talk about development. Okay, yeah, let's talk about this real quick. So if I can get enough development, 50 development, then we'll get to take the next mission, which reduces development cost in my capital area, which includes Setsu, which is a farmland and a natural harbor. So we have some development cost reduction, plus a thriving merchant community. If we can stack up my special mission, plus the natural farmlands and the thriving merchant community, we could have a 25% development cost reduction, which means this is a very good place to spawn the Renaissance. But I need a little bit more development. If we took a province off of Uchi, we would get that. So maybe that's something we want to do in the eventual peace deal. But anyway, the reason that I'm thinking about not doing that right now is because of the rebels. Over to the right, you can see we have 60% for Chosakabe separatists and 80% for Hosokawa separatists. The question is then, do I stay in this war so that my vassal daimyo swarm will actually do something useful and attempt to help kill the rebels? Now, at this point, what I'm trying to talk about is religion. So we are animist, which is trash. We have a couple of different options to try and change our religion to something more useful. When I looked over to the left there at Africa, I was talking about Riemann's paradox, talking about becoming Coptic. That's something he did in one of his strategies. If we conquered a Confucian province, we could try to become Confucian. We could already convert to Buddhism if I get 1 stability, which I don't think Buddhism's very good, so we probably don't want to do that. Alternatively, we could do Shinto. And the best way to do that is to send a missionary to Kyoto where it's going to have 0% progress, and it will take the natural unrest that's already there. They will become Shinto zealots, and when they eventually fire, let them siege down my capital, and I will accept their demands and become a Shinto state. That way, at least I am Shinto like the rest of my daimyos, which should reduce some opinion malice a little bit. Also, we'll have a chance to convert to Christianity later, which could be kind of fun. Now, we have a few different actions we can take with our daimyos. Diverting trade is really interesting. The subject has to give up 100% of their trade power at the cost of 30% liberty desire. Now, remember, we're the shogun. Every vassal we take automatically becomes a daimyo. We can vassalize the entire world, doesn't matter where they are, and they can give us 100% of their trade power. That means even if we didn't conquer any more land and just vassalized everyone, we could actually own the entire trade power of the planet. If we do it right. That is a theoretically possible thing as the shogun. Really powerful. I'm not sure we want to do it for everybody, but we could. Contributing to the capital is another option. They lose 2 development, but we get 1 in Kyoto, a little bit more base tax. That can be kind of nice. And I probably will have everyone always contribute if possible. That way, the AI continues to spend their monarch points developing their province, and I just get free development, which is nice. Forcing seppuku, that's going to be a huge aspect of this strategy as the shogun. So warmongering daimyos, we can force them to commit suicide, basically. And what happens is we get 5 times their heirs' monarch points. So a 3-2-3 heir will give us 15 admin, 10 diplo, and 15 military if we force them to commit seppuku right now. Granted, they're going to get a little bit of extra liberty desire, so they'll be disloyal for a while, but that is one easy way to get free monarch points every time our daimyos start attacking each other. So really, we actually want our daimyos fighting each other all the time, because that's a great way to farm out extra monarch points. Now, I have no idea what I'm trying to do right here. I think I'm talking a bit more about Setsu and why I want to develop it. Or something. No, I'm deciding if I want to turn it into a state. Ah, yes. Because if I'm going to develop up Setsu, then should we go ahead and make it a state now so that I can core it fully, and then I don't have to keep paying an extra cost for its high development later? And that's ultimately what I'm doing. I didn't really do the math to make sure that it works. But this way, now, if I don't have to core a 30 development province later, I can core a 15 development province right now. I think that ends up being a tiny little bit cheaper. Plus, Kyoto is free. It's our capital province. We don't have to pay any admin power to core it, so that's just done straight up. We have 11 corruption, by the way. It's a lot of corruption, so we're just going to spend some of our money to try and root that out. That is increasing our monarch point cost across the board. Shiba is going to get killed here by rebels, but I don't think I care about that. Consort with Ming, not that exciting. I have a 1-1-1 ruler who is just god-awful, so the sooner I can get an heir and then die, the better. In fact, it's well worth it to abdicate if we get that opportunity, but there's a very good chance it will die before that. And by a very good chance, I'm just saying, speaking from the future, we'll die before that happens. So, hooray. Oh no, Uchi is trying to kill people, but here come the vassal swarms. Get him! Die, Uchi, die! Again, I want to drag this war out. I want my vassals to kill the rebels, as many of them as possible. Because who wants to lose my own manpower when I have a perfectly good vassal swarm to do it for me? You know? Now, we actually probably do need to move these troops somewhere else. Actually, no, at this point I'm debating building out some more. Spend some of that manpower and finally replace those troops that I got killed in the north. Treason against Ryukyu. Southern Kyushu is the area that is being affected. So, at this point, I'm trying to figure out, like, where Southern Kyushu is. Or Kyushu. Or however you say that. Which I mistakenly believe to be just the southern part of this leftmost island right here. It actually does include Okinawa. And I don't notice that at the time, but I will figure that out later. Maybe in this video, maybe the next, I really can't recall for sure. I'm just kind of like, who cares? It affects only my vassal, not me. So by all means, have your unrest. Yeah, that comes back to bite me slightly later. But we survive it just fine. Surely you guys have faith in me, yeah? Alright, so right now I'm looking through what can I do with these guys. I think I'm going to have as many contribute to the capital as is possible. Extra base tax is certainly nice. It allows me to field a larger army. And if they already have high enough liberty desire that they're not going to be loyal, then why not just force them to divert the trade and I can just reap the extra benefits from them? You know? I won't make an already loyal guy disloyal, but if you're already disloyal and there's nothing I can do to make you like me more, then we might as well just take your money. Take all the trade power. Let's see. Now, we do have a lot of vassals to sort through. And by the time we are done with this campaign, I do hope that I'm going to have somewhere on the order of 200 vassals. Maybe more. I don't know. I've never really done this before. But I'm hoping it's going to be a lot. It is going to be an absolute pain to manage them from this screen, so there may come a time when I just have to do all this in between videos. Now, since we are going to get a lot of extra trade power here in the Nippon trade node, I'm going to go ahead and pull the merchant off of Hongju. And let's go back to protecting trade in Beijing with my light trade ships. Not that they're worth much exactly, but hey, a little bit helps. We're going to make a reasonably good amount of money. Considering we only have 4 provinces, we should end up making several ducats per month just off of trade and vassal income. There's the Hosokawa separatists. Okay, so they fired. So the question now is, how do I get them to kill them? I want people to stack on me. Ming is still hanging around. I don't recall if Ming actually helps here or not. I don't think that they do. Maybe? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm on the edge of my seat watching just like you guys. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't remember every little detail. The Vassal Swarm is only concerned with Uchi right now. I think I'm debating whether or not if I march on the rebels, will Ming decide to join? Again, I think the answer to that is no. Ah, they're moving off. Okay. So I'll go unsiege this. There's Ming. So is Ming going to go jump on him? No, Ming wants to get their troops back together. By Tosa, for some reason. Don't ask me why. But here come a few little vassal reinforcements nearby, so I think I'm debating just jumping on it right now. Maybe I do, maybe I don't. I honestly don't remember. They don't last for very long, I promise you that much. I was questioning why they were going into Yamana's territory, but for some reason, Hosokawa has cores in Yamana's territory, so that's a thing. Okay, now we have enough troops stacked up that I feel like I can go kill the rebels. So let's kill the rebels. Date declares war. Guess what that means? Date's doing bad things, and I can force him to commit seppuku. I have no idea if that's the proper phraseology, by the way. Commit seppuku? Or just force seppuku? I don't even know if I'm saying seppuku right. Probably not. Whatever, we can reduce our army maintenance. I mean, I'm not really worried. Let's just force everything to rooting out corruption by almost 1 per year. Get that out of the way as fast as we can. Did I actually forget to force seppuku on Date? Oh, no, I didn't forget. I just can't. So, you can only force seppuku if they have less than 50% liberty desire, and Date was one of the ones where they already were above 50%. So, I can't force him to commit seppuku. I cannot get his extra monarch points, which is unfortunate. We are coming over here to siege down Uchi's last little territory so we can stop training up some reinforcements, because that's irritating, and who wants to deal with that? Also, I get control of that province, so maybe I want to keep it. I'm not even at full army maintenance, but I'm going to go ahead and attack here anyway. Or at least I was about to. Waiting for the vassals to stack up. There we go. Because, I mean, we should, like, instantly wipe it, right? Nope. Well, whatever. We still only lost, like, 200 people. And now we have a call for peace. Unfortunate. So, this is where I wanted to use the vassals to take out the Chosokabe separatists, but I'm not going to be able to. My war exhaustion is still ticking up, and that's only going to get worse, and that's making things pretty difficult on me right now. So I'm looking at ending this war, and hoping that Ming sticks nearby Tosa and ends up assisting against the rebels. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't remember, but we're going to find out. Now, do I wait for this fort? I think I was going to wait for this fort, but then, like, the odds keep dropping, and it's like, frickin' heck. Here's my 3 siege general. Can we win it? No. And then I lose, like, 2 more siege attempts or something, right? I think that might be the case. Or am I just going to peace out? Maybe I'm going to peace out. So this I'll give off to Hosokawa, and this I take for myself to get me above the 50 development that I need to finish my mission for the development cost reduction so that I can start working toward the Renaissance. In the meantime, I'll take all of your money, and nothing else really ends up mattering. So it's just a little bit of extra prestige and so on. Ba-boom. Thus ends the war with Uchi, and the islands are at peace once again. Perfect. We will core this land, and I can fulfill my mission to expand Ryukyu. Which means I can go to Setsu and we can start doing a bunch of development. Or do I want to do tech? No, not really. I think we'd rather just get the Renaissance going for the long-term benefits as early as possible. And if I hand this off to the Merchants Guild, I think I get another development cost reduction. Yeah, of course, we gotta stack that up as well. Very good province to give them. So now we're gonna dump literally every point I've got into development. So here we go. 32 developments already, which means we are now at 67.97% progress towards the Renaissance. So in probably like, what, 3 years or so, I actually will get the Renaissance to develop in Japan, which means we are not going to fall that far behind technologically over Europe. And I'm going to lose the prestige here. And we hopefully will have a good long-term race against Europe. Maybe we can use this against Korea or China or somebody else. I don't know. But all the Japanese are going to look pretty strong. Now, as far as my expansion, I think that's what I'm talking about now. As far as my expansion, the strategy is probably to take over the Philippines first. Manchuria up to the north was also a good option. These little guys could all easily become daimyos. They're just small little 1 or 2 provinces. Easy pickings. Unfortunately, they've all kind of allied each other, which makes things a little bit more difficult. But Jeongju and Korea are probably a little bit too strong for me at the moment. So we'll have to come back to them a little bit later, I think. But supposedly the strategy that we ought to follow, according to AlzaboHD's strategy, which I don't think I'm going to follow from here on out, but according to him, you want to go for Siberia and try to cut off Russia as early as you can. And maybe that's correct. I don't really know. I don't feel like Siberia is that difficult to deal with. But a weak Russia certainly would be good for me as well. Now, at this point, I think I'm just looking for a good advisor. The Diplo Rep guy is certainly tempting because that would reduce my Liberty Desire by a further 3%. Military points are always tempting too. I mean, the more monarch points we have right now, probably the better. We have just enough money for one. I think... Did I end up going with one? Maybe not. Nope, instead I decided to go ahead and just train up a bunch more troops. Okay. Start training myself up to, like, 12 infantry. Now, we could gain legitimacy and manpower this way, but we'd have to release a daimyo. Which sounds good and all, except I've already cored this land for myself, and I don't really feel like giving this land up, even if it will give me another subject who we might be able to force seppuku on. So we're not going to do that, even if I would like the legitimacy. We're instead going to keep Tosa under my own control. Well, eventually. Come on, Pravus, stop. Man, I ramble a lot, don't I? The local autonomy does suck, but oh well. Disloyal subjects, I don't want to lose the power, so we're going to accept the loss of Diplo Rep. The power is too important right now. Let's see. I think I'm going to sort through here again and just see if there's anybody else that I can either divert trade or maybe force to contribute to the capital. Now, if you are... So, a lot of these abilities are grayed out, unless you are below 50% Liberty Desire by default, right? So some of these provinces, or some of these daimyos, I have over 50% Liberty Desire, and they're going to be grayed out. Maybe they would be able to contribute to capital if I wasn't diverting trade. So at a later date, I think in the next video, what I start doing is turning off divert trade, just to see if those options are there, and then just re-enabling it. And if the options are there, well, yeah, I mean, sure, you're at 70% Liberty Desire, you can't contribute to capital, that's fine. Disable divert trade, contribute to capital, re-enable it. Boom. I mean, it's no skin off your back. It's really easy to do. Anyway. Oh, good. A daimyo's doing something he's not supposed to. Ando! Come over here. For seppuku. And I got power. I didn't check to see what his heir was. It was a 3-3-2. So 15, 15, 10. I mean, that's not bad. That's 40 monarch points right there. Oh, good. Yamano is also doing things they're not supposed to do. So we can force seppuku on you for a 2-2-3. Man, where's the 6-6-6 leaders when you want them? Disable divert trade. So we can do that now, then force seppuku, and then re-enable it. I mean, really, there's almost no point in having those options grayed out below 50%. It's so easy to manipulate it. It takes, like, just 2 mouse clicks. Who cares? But whatever. All right, so we're going to have 12 troops of our own, which is going to do a lot to increase our relative power against all of our daimyos. It also eventually will lead to some conquest options for me in the future, since I can't really rely on my daimyos to do much of anything. We will have enough troops to deal with the Chosokabe. There we go. Chosokabe separatists. Ooh, 50 admin power. I'll take that. Ming is no longer around to help me, so we're not going to be able to... Oh, they're still here. Never mind, I just missed them. But they're not going to help me anyway, so... Yeah, can't rely on Ming. Also, there's the Ryukyu peasants, and this is where I'm realizing, wait, why do I have peasants? Peasants? Yeah, my war exhaustion's still bad, but that shouldn't be that bad. Nah, that's because of that event that the southern Kyushu, or whatever it was, in Okinawa. So they have rebels, unrest, words. I don't know. It's like 10:30 at night right now on a Tuesday night. I'm trying to record this just so you can get your video tomorrow. I'm exhausted, guys. Seriously. The amount of effort that I put into this channel sometimes, especially after last week, is just ridiculous. 30 hours. 30 hours of work for that one Tekkit episode. I'm telling you guys. Woo, woo. But now that we actually have Kyoto down for this series, I'm hoping it's going to be not smooth sailing. I want it to still be a challenge, but there we go. A 443 heir, and his name shall be Shu. Hooray! An actually pretty good heir. Like, that's awesome. I'm looking forward to keeping him around. I do want to build up some more ships, but I can't because we don't have enough sailors. I can do the suppression of unrest in the southern Kyushu area, which includes Okinawa. So now I'm making... There we go. Now I've made the connection. That's where the light bulb goes off. The light bulb goes off in my little brain, and I figured it out. Oh, no, it does affect me after all. Ah, what have I done? Could give the land to the clergy. It just reduces local unrest a little bit. Not that it's going to matter that much. Did I decide to do it? I can't remember. Or did I give it to the Bushi? I think I gave it to the clergy. Yep, I gave it to the clergy. Okay, well, that answers that question. Anyway, yeah, as I was saying, like I do want this series to be quite a challenge. But I'm hoping that the hardest part of the campaign, getting Kyoto, is over. Like, that is rough. If you do try to follow this strategy on your own, do not be surprised if it takes you several attempts. You just need the stars to frickin' align, man. So, we are at 70% progress right now for the Shinto Zealots. So I'm hoping relatively soon... influenza. I think we're going to quarantine everything, right? Yeah, quarantine. I was trying to stop it. I think it fails, but we try. Well, why am I debating this for so long? Make your decision. Be decisive, Pravus. Good lord. Anyway. 70%. I was a little bit concerned for a while that the Shinto Zealots would fire at a time when Ming was still hanging around and they might kill the Zealots for me. That would be terrible because I actually want the Zealots to win. But that doesn't end up happening. So relatively soon the Shinto Zealots are going to fire. We can do something fun with all of them. Now I could disable diverting trade from Hosokawa and they would become loyal. Which sounds really good. I'm not sure it does much for me though. I mean, I don't know. Would it make more sense, regardless of loyalty, to make everyone disloyal and just take the entire trade power of Japan? Like, maybe that actually is a good financial decision. I really don't know for sure. It could be. And again, I'm just looking to see if there's any other options for things I can do with my vassals. We can conscript generals from them, by the way, which is certainly a really nice thing to do. Because some of your vassals, I mean, if you have enough vassals, you can have your pick of the litter, basically. And what if one of your vassals has, like, a 5/5 general? Yeah, I'll gladly conscript him. I never have to spend military points on generals again. I just have to accept a disloyal daimyo. And what's one daimyo to me? Nothing, really. But I get really good generals. Who needs army tradition and military power? Not me. 80% for the Shinto Zealots, 90% for the Ryukyuan peasants. We don't have a fort in Kyoto, so I should not have to disable anything. Otherwise, I would disable the fort to make it easier. We are currently sitting at almost 91% to progress toward the Renaissance in Setsu. So we will be getting the Renaissance relatively soon. Tokugawa has done something they are not supposed to. A 433 heir. Awesome. Let's force seppuku on you. Do it. There we go. And he's not even disloyal after that, which is amazing. New monarch in Yamana. Kind of irrelevant. Bungo has been added to our territory. Imagawa has done something they're not supposed to. We're gonna... Well, actually, in this case, yeah, we can't even reduce their liberty desire enough. Maybe if we granted a province. I think at this point I decide I'm going to go ahead and improve relations with Imagawa so I can get them below 50% liberty desire so I can kill them and then increase their liberty desire again. Because that makes sense. Make them friends so that I can force him to kill himself. It's not a very kind thing to do. Oda, you're the next on the list doing things you're not supposed to do. For seppuku. Extra power for me. And this is how I'm going to get the Renaissance to fire in Japan before 1460. I mean, we're already at 97% of the way there. We just need one more development, and I'll probably use my Diplo power, because what I'd like to do is get admin tech so I can start working toward my first idea group as soon as possible. That's what I would like to see happen. And when we get to that point, we will use exploration ideas. Ideally, we're going to find a way to get colonialism to fire in my own land. That would be preferable. Maybe we succeed, maybe we don't. I don't really know. I think right now I'm praying for death from my ruler, because a 1-1-1 is just horrible. 117 Diplo power is what we're looking for in order to get our next development. There's the Shinto zealots. All right. So we're going to let them have fun in Kyoto. At this point, actually, I think we could just accept their demands outright. I'm debating whether it makes sense to let them siege it down, and if that like automatically forces us to accept and we don't pay the penalty. Because we will lose 50 prestige and 1 stability if we just accept their demands right now. So right now I'm having the debate. I can't recall if they siege down the capital, then do I pay a worse penalty or less of a penalty or what? The answer is it's the same. Because even if they siege down, I mean, unless we let them break the country, but if we let them siege down Kyoto, it's not going to make much of a difference. We would still have to lose the stability. So there's no reason for me to wait as long as I am right now. I don't think. But I don't realize that at the exact moment. So, oops, things happen. We had another Daimyo do things he's not supposed to. Made him kill himself. More monarch points for me. I'm sitting around waiting for the last development in Setsu. Good news is all my other provinces are already Shinto. So once we do convert the national religion to Shinto, we should see our unrest drop a little bit in all of my other provinces. Converting to Christianity will be fun, though. I assume that's something that I'm going to end up doing. I haven't quite decided yet, but I have to think that I will. It will cause some problems, right, in terms of national stability for a while. But if somehow I could find a way to be the Shogun of Japan and the Emperor of the Holy Roman Empire, that'd be amazing. Actually, is it even possible to do the Shogun of Japan, the Emperor of the HRE, and the Emperor of China? Is that a thing? To become the Emperor of China, you have to have an Eastern religion, right? But what happens if I conquer China and become the Emperor of China while I'm Shinto, and then convert to Christianity? Do you lose the Empire of China? I've never really tested that. I don't know. I need to look that up on Reddit. I'm sure someone else has thought of it. I would assume you lose it. And the thing is, I'm not even sure I want the Empire of China. Let's be honest. Like, it is a blessing if you play it right, but it also could be a huge curse. Taking an extra 50% damage for all your troops is massive. All right, Yamana, we are going to disable divert trade and force you to commit seppuku again. That's the second time in this video. You never learn. Importing iron. Do we want military power and make Yamana like me, or mercantilism? 60 power now to mercantilism for the long term. This is always a hard choice, because the military power is important. I do need tech. On the other hand, 60 military power versus effectively 200 Diplo power worth of mercantilism. And I think I end up going for the mercantilism because, I mean, that's so good. How can I complain against getting 200 free Diplo power, effectively? There we go. Finally. Again, I'm talking about the whole, like, decisiveness. It's just not there. Man, I need to tighten up my recording style. I'm realizing that, like, watching this afterwards. So yeah, accepting demands does nothing different. We're going to go ahead and accept it. But now we are Shinto. So my religion's different. Let's go ahead and convert Okinawa away from animist. And now we have the whole isolationism mechanics to worry about again. We start off as adaptive, which actually reduces my development cost again. Had I waited to do this, we could have actually developed Setsu for a lot cheaper. I didn't think about that. But that's actually a very compelling reason as to why we should save up our monarch points, get the Shinto zealots first, and then develop to go for the Renaissance. Oh well. If I were to do this a second time, that's probably what I would do. But I did not. Social mobility. What do we care about the merchant guilds? Why am I reading this? Advisor cost reduction. Merchant guilds gain influence. They're already at 85. Ouch. Or reduce loyalty. Or global trade power goes down. Lose 75 admin power. Yeah, the rest of this seems fine. I'm okay with losing merchant guild loyalty. What I'm not okay with is losing 75 admin power. So I think I end up going for the merchant guild influence here, knowing that we are getting closer to a disaster. But ever since the Dharma expansion, you can go up to 100% without having a disaster fire. So we're okay a little bit. In fact, we're going to go ahead and get some extra power. I make a generous donation here to get my loyalty for the clergy back up, and there's nothing I can do with the Bushi at the moment. But I do ask for a contribution, which ends up giving me 70 ducats, and I only gave 26 to the clergy. So they're still loyal, and I end up walking away with more money instead of less, which is great. So in the next video, what we have to do is start looking toward expansion. I'm thinking the Philippines makes the most sense. Start getting a good trade empire down there. There's a lot of money to be had. And I think that's where I end things here. So thank you all very much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed this video. I apologize for the voiceover, but that's the best I could do in an Iron Man game. If you did enjoy, hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. And I, as always, will see you guys next time.